This week on Hermitcraft.
I gotta show you the cutest cat in the whole wide world. Hi, Jelly. Jelly got struck by lightning where she was once on this pedestal and died, as you can see in the screenshot. I mean, can we get an F in the chat for this? This is super sad.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. My name is Pixelriffs, our writer is LoyXP, and he's about to write basically the whole Good Times with Scar segment into this week's intro. He has every reason for it. Scar has been incredibly governmental this week, and things he says as a mayor tend to affect the whole rest of the server. So peel your ears to the screen if you have a stake in any of the local shops. That's how sound works, right? By the decree of the mayor, the Hermitcraft commercial area will be reforming the roads, by which we mean really forming the roads, because some of them weren't there before. Any hermit can take a spot or a whole track and turn it into a nicer pathway. A specially appointed commission will reward the best with a hefty prize.
Captain of the Mayor B00 and the Jellycat. That's right. I didn't know who the third person would be, so I picked Jelly for now. But the idea behind this is I don't want just a builder to, think that, oh, this is just a builder's competition. No, I want people with redstone backgrounds. I want people with armor stand backgrounds to join in, because you can make a cool redstone contraption for a road, and I'd love to see that. That's why we have originality, funny, beautiful. You can even make a funny road if you want.
The diamonds for it will come from the shop owners paying a fee to have their stores connected to said pathways, just so the diamond throne won't become more of a diamond stool. And we wouldn't want that. There's Grians in there.
Hello? Where have you all come from?
And with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with Scar, who finds the aforementioned Grians and decides to follow the overly insistent bunch right into the Nether, though in his own way. First and foremost, he has to finish up the Big Dig site, but luckily there isn't much left. Just the drive-through with another control tower, which he builds to be impressive and techy. After which, the good mayor dons a protective suit and flies right into the red fog beyond the drill, ready to unravel all kinds of building blocks that come with the update. It's surprising he doesn't bump into Mumbo on the way there, because in the middle of designing his Uber storage system, Mumbo decides to take a break and see what all the upside down fuss is about. After all, the alternative is crafting an incalculable amount of hoppers.
That's a calculation that I can't be bothered to do.
He wastes no time in attempting to get the drop on his new Nether neighbours, setting up a ceiling-mounted party house, which we won't spoil for you. Just know that it took a lot of effort getting a horse up there.
Now, okay. Oh no, I've just thought. They're not going to fit through this hole, are they? No.
False symmetry, in the meantime, melts more in real life, as Britain's weather also took a dip into the fire. To match the temperature, she drops into the Nether as well, hoping to connect her base to the main hub network, making her personal mini-hub while she's at it. Her overworld drops quite deep as well, now that the dig for that part of her base is complete, which is reason enough to raise several dark prismarine platforms out of the depths and build a few concrete cuboids, trying to develop a modern to futuristic style out of them.
But yes, I think as soon as you see that and you see these things being round and then square, there is that. I don't know, we're going to have to really work on how to combine the two.
She also has a standoff round with Etho, who makes it all the way through Cubfan and to the finals of the tournament. Vintage Beef also has a reason to confront Etho, or so he thinks, after finding all his chests filled with renamed light grey glass panes. It has the mark of Shady Ease all over it. But when Etho swears he hasn't done the deed, Beef drops some anvils on him anyway as a gesture of good faith, then goes back to suspiciously eyeing his neighbours.
Oh, come on, man. Double hit.
You still didn't die.
The
I gotta put one more anvil up there, and I think it'll do it.
I got me down to...
The grungy cyberpunk neighbourhood of 3 Fox Hole continues to expand, with apartment blocks decked out in fox-themed signs and a waterfront factory leaking toxic gunge into the surrounding ocean. He has a much easier time making the banners for it now that Cubfan has popped in and delivered the Creeperhead Beef won in his one-stack challenge on the Open Sesame minigames. But there might be even bigger trophies to score. Tripling down on the target-based minigames, Cub builds up a brand new one at his pyramid, a Defend the Castle game ready to be played with 2 players to 2 teams. The objective is pretty simple. Take out the other castle's health points by scoring bullseyes on the corresponding targets. But beware of the opposing team, who will be doing just the same, and a direct hit will remove the blocks you might be standing on. After all of the health points have been dropped, the losing team will be flushed down into a walk of shame pit and have to climb out over the sticky and squishy honey blocks. And if you're one for more practical redstone, Cubfan also fixes his Wither Rose based witch farm now that the roses prevent them from spawning entirely. Then again, he didn't use any redstone to do it, he just dropped in a Zoglin and called it a day.
And these Zoglins, again, attack any mob. You see there's another one down there already. And there he goes.
There are more fresh minigame experiences coming. Zedaf, for example, has finished and playtested his armor stand golf course, though he couldn't help but weaponize the ball in a few spots.
Right, 3, 2, 1, and thwack! Oh, I gave you my club. Oh, that happens sometimes. I should have locked these armor stands. Whoopsie. Oh, this is quite threatening. I don't like that at all. Okay.
The challenges and ball traps along the way would make this a mini golf course, though we struggle to call it that because it's also the biggest one on the server at the moment. Tango Tech's decked out dungeon inches towards completion as more parts of the map are built and more redstone components are put together and upgraded. The biggest highlight this week is definitely the altar room with a hole in a carpet that goes all the way down to the void below the bedrock. The loot box calculator comes a close second, but you really can't beat the pancakes, can you?
I want to thank you guys for your patience as we get decked out completed here. I know this is like the most massive project ever. I did not expect it to take this long, but guys, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel here. We got like a little bit of building, some roofs, a couple more redstone systems. I can taste it. We're getting there.
It is one last hurrah for Impulse's bedrock breaking service, which he dismantles now it seems to have served its purpose. Luckily for him, he's still making bank elsewhere, but is still humble enough to refloor his base with glass instead of diamond blocks. Then again, installing 4 beacons at every corner of his pyramid might be the flex you're looking for.
I've had the Wither farm for a while, and I've been selling beacons like crazy, as you saw earlier, but never once took the time to set up my own buffs in my base, so this feels great.
His contribution to the Netherlands minigaming district arrives in the form of an armor stand archery game, taking advantage of the fact that the Twiggy practice dummies can now be placed and clothed by dispensers and immediately flung into a firing range. He names it Disarmed, which makes sense because the stands don't have arms to begin with. On the topic of cool niche services that the rest of the whitelist can't be bothered to figure out themselves, Zombie Cleo has finally tired of people DMing her armor stand requests and created a market stall for them to specifically DM instead.
Because hermits keep on going, Cleo, I need to speak to you about doing stuff at my base. And I'm like, okay, tell me about it. And no, I feel like they should order stuff.
The shop is called Kick the Puppet, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Just drop by and drop off a book describing exactly how you plan on doing violence to a mannequin. This, of course, will demand more player heads, but this time her solution for that seems to be to create more players. And so, having swabbed some random spots in the commercial district for DNA, Cleo begins the cloning process. Only good things can come from this. An even more morbid service is started by Ijevin when he builds a pineapple under the sea and starts selling sponges out of it. Have fun draining the ocean, everybody, and remember, you're doing it with SpongeBob SquarePants' corpse. Jevin does bring a game more pleasant too, a semi-golf, semi-puzzle game for the minigaming district, where you need to pull your boat through the Blackstone Gates on ice using but a fishing rod and a few spots it can move to another from.
The objective of the game is to go through all of the goals. You can go through them in any order as you like, just as long as you go through them all. There is prying obsidian around the map. These are teleport spots.
But Azuma has him beat and introduces a whole murder arena to the server. Remember the guest hall from a week ago? That build is now completely submerged and will be repurposed into an underwater PvP arena, aka the kiddie pool. The difference of movement alone will be a fun challenge, but to make the play more comfortable, Azuma will have to get plenty of conduit power and even tridents for the players. One is easy enough to obtain through a bit of treasure hunting, the other demands a whole drowned farm, which does not go awfully well for X's own design, and he settles just to use Hypno's one with his permission. Though there is a design that never failed him in 3 or 4 seasons now, and that's the pumpkin and melon silos, a tower type farm for those materials that showed up every time since Hermitcraft Season 2.
So let's take a step back. Green, orange, green, Orange. When I started placing these down, I didn't think about what side they were on. I just started building up the towers on the inside, and so they're actually on the opposite compared to the other side.
As for Hypno, he's now more busy at his new boardwalk base, which is a base more for the sightseeing tours and knick-knack salesmen. The expanded walkway, fit for walks by the ocean, is now prettified with cut bushes in nice planter boxes. The market stalls also move in, though not for a genuine business with the other hermits, it's just a decoration to make the area feel more alive and lived in.
So we got a whole bunch of different water-related items that are quote-unquote being sold in this area.
Iskall's tree is already somewhat bushy and very lived in, but it needs the modern conveniences of life, like a robot that'll tidy up all those shulker boxes he literally sweeps under the rug. Instead of investing in a Roomba, Iskall builds a system which empties his shulker boxes, extracts the bulk resources like dirt, stone and gravel, and drops everything else into a leftovers chest to be manually sorted. It's a sort of sorting system, and it sort of works, because hoppers are weird sometimes. At least the manual storage barrels have an easy to understand labeling system.
Angry Beehead clearly shouts, "All other random items here!"
Perhaps he has barrels on the brain, or perhaps sorting his items has made him realise how few diamond blocks he has left, because Iskall revisits the Treasure Island game and revamps it into a whole new experience. Terraforming an unused pair of islands somewhere in the Hermitlantic, he hides valuable prizes all over the island, which hermits can pay for the privilege of digging up. The catch is that they can't use their own equipment. Buying a ticket to the island randomly assigns them a half-broken wooden shovel, and they can only dig until it breaks. And finally, there's Rendog, who is no stranger to digging at this point, having finally gathered enough black stone and black concrete to build the outer shell of Vader's castle in the Tattoo Ren Mesa, along with an entire custom-built mountainside so the fortress fits into the landscape. It's a build fit for a galactic emperor, which is good because one might be on his way, although he seems to be using the same CB radio channel as a certain spacefaring hippie.
Hey man, not sure if this communicator thing is working.
Have it ready for my arrival.
I'll jump into hyperspace to come and find you.
Our convoy is en route from sector HC6-103.
Some more gas for the Rendog. It's been a pretty long journey in space so
soon.
And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is Pixelriffs. Lately I've been seeing just how fast I can spawn zombie piglins in my Skyblock series, which you'll find linked in the end screen theatre. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.